In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some amazing artists that I absolutely love. These are my favorite artists. Most of them are women, most of them are impressionist painters. Most of them are women, most of them are also impressionist painters or just sort of have very similar styles to what I'm trying to build for myself. And I just admire these amazing women and some of them are men so much. And they're all rock stars, every single one of them. They're all incredibly passionate about their fields. They're all professional artists. And like, if I could just achieve like a single % of their greatness, I would be just like eternally grateful. They're so amazing. I'm gonna fangirl this entire video and that's just gonna be how it is. So if you're not here for that, feel free to click off. This isn't the video for you. But if you want to hear me talk about just some amazing art for however many minutes this is gonna be, then this is the place for you. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kelsey, and on this channel we talk about sort of oil painting and art, and I teach you how to start oil painting. I give you lots of instructional content, lots of good information, and I also chronicle my adventure to become a full-time artist. I am not even a part-time artist right now. I am just doing this for fun. I'm just doing this because it's my passion, but it is a thing that I want to build for myself in the future. I want to eventually be able to call myself a professional artist, and I'm going to chronicle my journey to get there throughout these videos and on this channel so you can see what it takes, I guess. And if you have seen my videos before on this channel, you know that I'm a big fan of crafting your own personal style. And what that means is that you take art that you like, you take certain components of it, you piece it together and you make it yours. And that's how I'm trying to build my own personal style. That's how I shared with you how to build your style. If you're unsatisfied with your art, I'd recommend you take pieces of art that you like and you sort of hodgepodge it all together, Frankenstein's monster, and that's your art style. I have my computer pulled up over here with some images of my favorite artists, their work. So if you see me glancing over to the side, that's why. I'm aware this can be disorienting and distracting, so I'm going to try to focus on you as much as possible, but I do need to look at the images every once in a while, and I'm also going to have them up on the screen. So, the first artist that I absolutely love, that's just my favorite artist, maybe of all time, is Erin Hanson. Erin Hanson is an incredibly successful artist. She's wildly successful. She has multiple galleries like just for her work, and she is the pioneer or the founder of this movement called the Open Impressionism movement. The Open Impressionism movement is marked by like really colorful underpaintings and single brush strokes, like just very vivid, very visible brush strokes, very outlandish colors. And she has this very impressionist take on primarily landscapes. I don't think I've ever seen her paint anything that isn't a landscape. So she paints a lot of stuff around sort of the western half of the United States, the West Coast. I think she's based in San Diego, but maybe she's moving to Portland. Maybe I saw that on her Instagram, I'm not sure. But she's incredibly successful. Her paintings sell for thousands of dollars. And she has committed to painting one painting a week. So I think she has multiple things going at the same time and wants to finish one of them every week. So her work, as you can see on the screen right now, I'll put some up so you can see it. Her work is really colorful. It's very kind of blocky, but not overly so. There's just a lot going on. She uses this technique that I call painting around and not painting over. So you notice that not a lot of her brush strokes overlap. She doesn't rely on blending very much. It's just like she's gonna make a paint stroke and then she's gonna put another paint stroke near it, but not on top of it, unless that layer is dry. There isn't really a lot of blending going on here, like I said. There isn't a lot of focus on realism, though she does definitely capture a likeness of her subject. And there's just like so much life to these paintings. It's impressionism. I mean, that's what it is. She just takes the kinds of ideas that Van Gogh and Monet and Manet started and takes them to the next level in terms of just contemporary artwork. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. My boyfriend and I both really love her work. My boyfriend is not an art aficionado or anything, he's a math major, but he just, appreciates good art when he sees it, and we both would just like die if we got a print of hers at some point. That's the dream. Her prints are also incredibly expensive, just like her original work, because there is just such a demand for her stuff. And her commercial success is unrivaled. It's just incredible. I nerd out over her stuff all the time. I have thought about doing studies of her work constantly, and that is the thing that I want to do in the future. I want to sort of try to deconstruct her techniques and learn from her style so that I can take bits of what I've learned and apply it into my own work. But important to note here is that doing studies of artists does not mean that you're copying them in your own original work. It just means that you're sort of trying to learn their technique as if you would a teacher. I really love the way that Erin Hanson paints rocks and paints flowers. I think that her approach to these subjects is really interesting. She uses just all of these really outlandish colors that I would never personally just choose to do in my work. And I think that's really interesting. And I spend just hours upon hours looking at her paintings sometimes, trying to figure out how she made these decisions and how she just came to these choices in her paintings, and they're just really incredible. So yeah, I really love Erin Hanson, if you can't tell. The next artist on my list is Jess Franks. Jess Franks is also an artist that I would call more impressionist, but her work is a little bit more blocky, it's a little bit more abstract. She's an acrylic artist. She's also a professional artist. I believe she lives in the Pacific Northwest, or wait, no, does she? She lives in a mountainy area, and some of her paintings feature Maine, which obviously is not on the West Coast, it's on the East Coast. So I'm not sure where she lives exactly. But Jess Franks is just an amazing acrylic artist. She also primarily does landscapes, and her work is really good. She simplifies shapes really interestingly. The way that she paints trees is incredible. She also, similar to Erin Hanson, takes a really sort of outlandish approach to color. She amplifies things, and that brings just this incredible life to her paintings that you don't see in just straight up realism. She pushes colors to the max in a way that I try to emulate my own work. But importantly to note that Jess Franks does not like it when people make studies of her paintings. So she doesn't really agree with people making studies of living artists' work. And I understand her perspective on this, so I don't make studies of her work because she's saying that she doesn't like this and that I want to respect her wishes on this matter. But I do believe that making studies of living artists' work is a good thing to do still. I don't do it for her work, obviously, because she doesn't want us to, but I guess I don't really see the difference between making a study or a master copy, as some artists call them, of a work by Rembrandt or Sargent or Van Gogh. I don't really get the difference between doing that and doing a study of Erin Hanson or Ken Folks or Ekaterina Popova, just because it's the premise that's the same. You're taking an artist who's well respected, who knows their stuff, is clearly a master in their field, and you make a study, you do a copy of their work for your own educational purposes, your own teaching, and you gain this knowledge in trying to emulate their techniques. And I don't really understand the difference between doing a study of a living artist and of one who's passed away. It doesn't make sense to me why that would be different, because you're not selling that work, first of all. You're not copying their style in your own original work that you're trying to sell. You're just learning something, and I guess I don't understand what makes it good when you make a study of a dead artist versus bad when you make a study of a living artist. So we disagree on this point. Jess Franks, if you're watching, feel free to elaborate on that. I am still kind of confused by your idea, but I don't make a study of her work because I know that she doesn't want us to. That being said, though, her work is obviously really incredible. The way that she simplifies shapes is amazing. She paints rocks in a similar entrancing way to Erin Hanson, but obviously the two styles are very different. So yeah, that's Jess Franks. Jess Franks is incredible. I'll leave her links down below, as I will with everyone else on this list, but Jess Franks is just incredible. She had this month-long highlight on her stories of her new studio. She ordered the shed and had all this custom stuff installed, and it's dream art studio goals. So if you don't know her, if you haven't seen that highlight, I'll link it down below. It's just really incredible. Next on my list is Shanna Van Maurik. Shanna Van Maurik is one of the only figurative painters on my list. She paints people, animals, hands, and also not really landscapes, but she does more figurative stuff. And most of the artists on this list are landscape painters, so it's a little bit of a separation there, of a little bit of a departation. So Shanna Van Maurik is a Canadian painter. I believe she lives in Toronto, and she works in oils and gouache and I think sometimes acrylics for her underpaintings. And her work is also pretty impressionist, but, oh, I'm sorry. I will mute my computer. Her work, Shanna Van Maurik's work is also pretty impressionist, but unlike Erin Hanson, who has a more blocky kind of style, Shanna Van Maurik's style is very soft. It's very ethereal. Her paintings remind me of that period when you're in the middle of a dream and you're not sure whether it's real or not. That's like the kind of vibe that I get from her work. It's really amazing. I constantly admire the way that she paints hands and eyes, and like I wish that I could paint faces, but sadly I just cannot right now. That is something that I would love to do in the future, but as of right now I'm just not capable of that. Shanna Van Maurik has just this insanely good eye for color. I absolutely love her work. I own some prints of her stuff. My boyfriend lost my water bottle a few months ago, but on my old water bottle I had some stickers of hers, like this cute strawberry and like this moth, and it was just really adorable, and I love her stuff. Every time she updates on Instagram, I fawn over the new painting because it's just incredible all the time. The next artist on my list is Ekaterina Popova. Ekaterina Popova is a Russian-born artist. I think she lives in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh now, I'm not sure which. And her work is more of like an intimate study of interior environments. So she paints a lot of offices and a lot of bedrooms, especially these kind of intimate spaces. And her work is it reminds me a lot of Shanna Van Maurik's style. It's like pretty soft and pretty impressionist, but Ekaterina Popova's colors, her use of color is really bold and really visionary and really incredible. She doesn't really focus on capturing like this intense realistic likeness as most artists on this list. She isn't a realism artist, but she does capture the feeling of a space, and so I would consider her to be an impressionist painter in that she is sort of capturing what you might feel in a certain environment, so the impression of the space. And her work is just really amazing. She works several galleries. She's an entrepreneur as well as an artist, and she has just tons of resources on how to be successful. She has some courses and stuff that I hope to do in the future, and she's just really amazing and I think an awesome person to look up to in terms of her career path. Next on this list is artist Amy Montgomery. You'll notice that a lot of these artists are women, and I don't know, I didn't like deliberately try to make this video all about female artists, but somehow it just became that, and I think I'm fine with that. Amy Montgomery is, I'm not sure where she's from. I don't really know a lot about her. I just discovered her recently, but Amy Montgomery is like, if you were to take the love child of Erin Hanson and Jess Franks art styles and then just like give it more movement, that's Amy Montgomery's artwork. Amy Montgomery, like the way that she paints trees is just like #goals. She uses these like kind of filbert or flat brush strokes and these really sweeping kind of styles, and it just emulates just so much movement and so much just incredible like feeling in the paintings. I don't know, like I look at her work and I can feel the wind rustle my hair and the salt water on my face, and it's just like really incredible to be transformed and transported into that environment like that so successfully. Her use of color, again, brilliant. A lot of artists on this list use really bold color choices because that is what I love in artwork. That is what I love in my own artwork, and I try to emulate that, and it's just incredible. Amy Montgomery is just an insanely amazing artist. Next on my list is artist Anisa Asakawa. I think that's how you say her name. She lives in the Pacific Northwest, I think in Oregon, and her work is just amazing. She's also an acrylic painter similar to Jess Franks, but takes a more Erin Hanson kind of approach to colors and brush strokes and mark making. My tendency to use pink underpaintings in my work definitely came from her, and I've shared my work with her before and she liked it. That was really cool. I did a study of something that she did and it was really successful and she enjoyed it. So I really enjoy doing studies of living artists and then sharing that with them so they can see that like their work is admired and I like it, and you know, I'm learning things from them. And I don't do that for Jess Franks, obviously, because she said not to. Yeah, so Anisa Asakawa is just absolutely amazing. I really recommend that you check her out. Her work is just really colorful, it's really vibrant. She paints mountains a lot, and whenever I look at her paintings, it's just like, they're so like simple, but in like this really beautiful way, where you can like see every single brush stroke and you're just amazed as to how like she did all of these things and that somehow it just came together, and that's just incredible. Her work is also like pretty outlandish in terms of colors. She has a lot of florals in her work, a lot of flowers, and there's just a lot to be learned there with the way that she paints mountains and the way that she paints flowers. Anisa Asakawa has also been dabbling really recently into more impasto stuff. So she's been like using cake piping tools, like frosting piping tools with her acrylics, and making like these really interesting floral patterns on her landscape paintings that I would just like love to touch, you know, like it's just so like visceral and like just frosting, you know, like it looks like frosting. And finally, the last artist on my list is artist Jessica Johnson. I've just discovered Jessica Johnson's artwork pretty recently, so I don't really know very much about her, but she has just this amazing quality to her work surrounding light and color. It's very reminiscent to me of how Van Gogh and Monet just obsessively studied light and played with that in terms of just the elements they focus on most in their work. And Jessica Johnson is working primarily in, I think, oil and gouache, if I'm not mistaken. And she has this very impressionist approach to painting, as most of the artists on this list do. You just have like this incredible impression of the place that she's taking you to. You're just transported into this other sort of dreamlike world where colors are amplified, and like even natural disasters like wildfires are painted in this just really haunting and beautiful way, and it's just really incredible. I feel like I keep just saying these complimentary words and like not actually talking about the substance of their work, but I mean, you can just look at it. It's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. So I hope through this video you found some really amazing artists that you didn't know about before, that you can go and follow on Instagram and YouTube and wherever and buy something from their shops, because they are worthy of your support and they are amazing. They are so good. I love art, ladies and gentlemen. I think one of my goals for this year is to buy lots of art once I can, and you know, like just I feel like if I buy things from big companies, I should also buy things from small individual creators, and that's something that I really want to emphasize in my spending habits this year. So I want to buy prints and like keychains and stickers and cool stuff from artists that I really love and whose work I want to really support. And I'm obviously not going to be able to afford something by Erin Hanson or Jess Franks or Montgomery, whose work sells for hundreds and often thousands of dollars, but if they release prints and calendars and things, I would love to buy that from them. Okay, so I think that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is actually the last video that you will be seeing from me here in Alaska. I am flying back home on Monday, so a few days from now, and I will be quarantining for 10 days, and then I will come back to you in my home studio at home. Yeah, so I'm gonna be taking all the precautions that I possibly can. I'm aware that it's dangerous, but I really miss home. I really want to see my cat again and my grandmother, and I want to launch my online shop soon and go to my morning classes I need to finish to graduate. So avoiding going home was really not an option for me. I really had to return. So I will be quarantining, taking all the precautions that I possibly can, and I will see you next week with a brand new video, because I have pre-recorded this and I am already finished the quarantine by the time that you're watching this, because I was so good with filming in advance, because I am amazing and I am trying so hard to meet my New Year's resolution by posting a video every single week. So I have filmed like 3 or 4 videos this week. I really hope you guys appreciate that and all the work that I'm putting into this, because it's so hard to film so many videos every week. I'm not even in class right now and it was so hard. So I'm hoping that I will be able to seamlessly transition from this video to, you know, continuing uploading right on schedule. But if I can't, please, you know, give me some grace, and I will see you in the next one. I don't know what the next one's gonna be, probably a vlog, but you know what? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.